What is consciousness? For centuries, this question has captivated thinkers. Traditionally, science has looked for answers inside the human brain. This 3-pound marvel of complexity with its billions of neurons seems the obvious place. It's where our memories live and our decisions are made. Or is it? Our universe constantly surprises us, urging us to look closer and question assumptions we hold dear. The idea of cells having awareness might sound startling at first. Scientists are suggesting that individual cells might exhibit their own simple forms of awareness. Not consciousness as we know it, of course. Instead, we are talking about a fundamental capacity to sense their world. They react to it and perhaps even make rudimentary choices that ensure their survival and function within a larger system. Imagine awareness not as an all-or-nothing switch, but as a dimmer dial. Proto-awareness sits at the lower end of this dial. It represents the most basic, rudimentary forms of perception or responsiveness. It's the fundamental ability of a system, even a very small one, to sense its environment and react to it in a meaningful way. Let's explore the world of cells. These microscopic powerhouses are the fundamental units of life. Scientists are increasingly observing behaviors in cells that are surprisingly sophisticated. Consider a behavior called chemotaxis. It's how a cell navigates its chemical landscape, moving towards nutrients and away from toxins. Why are scientists increasingly open to the idea that cells might possess some form of proto-awareness? The more we learn about cells, the more complex and dynamic they appear. They are incredibly intricate systems, packed with molecular machinery. This machinery allows them to perform astonishing feats of sensing, processing, and responding. The sheer sophistication of cellular life compels us to look beyond purely mechanistic explanations. What on earth is a fractal? You have almost certainly seen them, even if you didn't know their name. Imagine the intricate repeating pattern of a snowflake. Fractals are complex patterns built from simple rules. They are patterns that repeat themselves over and over at different scales. The magic of fractals lies in a property called self-similarity. What if awareness, the feeling of being, the experience of the world, is structured like a fractal? It suggests that the property of consciousness isn't limited to one specific scale, like the human brain. Instead, awareness exhibits self-similarity across different levels of biological organization. At the very base, we might find the proto-awareness we discussed earlier. This pattern could continue, scaling up through more complex animals until we reach the rich, self-reflective consciousness that we humans experience. The idea that consciousness might be fractal resonates deeply with some long-standing philosophical perspectives. One such perspective is panpsychism. This is the ancient and increasingly debated view that mind, or some rudimentary form of consciousness, is a fundamental and ubiquitous feature of reality. Panpsychists propose that the basic constituents of the universe possess some incredibly simple form of experience or proto-consciousness. The fractal pattern of self-similar awareness across scales offers a potential structure for how these fundamental micro-experiences could build up into the macro-experiences we know. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? You probably think of yourself as a singular individual, one human being. But what if I told you that you are actually a bustling metropolis, a vibrant ecosystem teeming with trillions of tiny inhabitants? This isn't science fiction, it's the reality of your microbiome. These are the legions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microorganisms that call your body home. They outnumber your own human cells, perhaps by as much as 10 to 1. This hidden world within us is a fundamental part of who we are. These trillions of microbes within us are not just isolated individuals, each going about its own business. They are constantly communicating, interacting, and collaborating in incredibly sophisticated ways. One of the key ways they talk to each other is through a process called quorum sensing. Individual bacteria release chemical signal molecules into their environment. As the population grows, the concentration of these signals increases, eventually triggering coordinated responses across the entire community. If individual cells might exhibit some rudimentary form of perception and responsiveness, what does that imply for a vast interconnected collective like our microbiome? Could the microbiome itself represent another layer of proto-awareness, a kind of distributed collective consciousness emerging from the interactions of its countless members? Some scientists and philosophers have begun to think of the microbiome, in conjunction with its host, as a superorganism. This concept suggests that the host and its microbial communities function as a single, integrated biological unit. The microbiome certainly exhibits characteristics that could be interpreted as a form of collective intelligence. Where is the hard evidence for these whispers of cellular awareness? Scientists haven't just been philosophizing. They've been in the lab, meticulously observing these tiny life forms. Consider the humble slime mold. This single-celled organism exhibits remarkable problem-solving skills. When presented with multiple food sources, it can find the most efficient path between them, effectively solving mazes. This isn't random bumping around. It looks like a genuine, albeit simple, decision-making process. Now, let's zoom out slightly from individual cells to the bustling communities they form, particularly within our microbiome. As we've discussed, these are not just random assortments of microbes. They are highly structured ecosystems. Recent research in microbiology is uncovering just how sophisticated their collective behavior can be. Scientists are exploring how these communities as a whole respond to changes in their environment, such as shifts in diet or the introduction of antibiotics. They are finding that these microbial societies can adapt and reorganize themselves in ways that suggest a distributed form of problem-solving, a collective intelligence at play. One exciting area of discovery is how microbial communities manage resources and labor. Studies are showing that different species within a complex biofilm, for example, can specialize in different tasks. Some might focus on breaking down complex carbohydrates, while others might produce essential amino acids or vitamins that benefit the entire community. This division of labor requires intricate coordination and communication. It's almost like a microscopic economy, with different members contributing specialized skills for the greater good of the collective. This isn't just a collection of individual actions, it's an orchestrated effort, hinting at a shared understanding of the community's needs and goals. The symphony of integration, from cellular sparks to organismal glow. If individual cells exhibit fascinating responsiveness, what does this mean for larger organisms like ourselves? We are built from trillions of these cells, each a tiny agent. Could our awareness be an integration of countless simpler elements? Consciousness may start from these fundamental building blocks. The skeptic's viewpoint. Is it really awareness? Scientific skepticism is essential. Labeling cellular behaviors as consciousness might be a step too far. Consciousness is a monumental puzzle for humans, let alone cells. We must avoid over-interpreting cellular actions. Scientific integrity demands cautious interpretation. Anthropomorphism can mislead us. Science seeks objective, testable hypotheses. The power of chemistry and evolution. Sophisticated cellular actions can be explained by biochemistry and evolutionary biology. Intricate chemical reactions govern cell behavior. No awareness is needed, just physics and chemistry. Chemotaxis and quorum sensing are elegant molecular mechanisms. Section 3. The measurement maze, defining awareness at the tiniest scales. Defining consciousness is a profound challenge. Even human consciousness remains a mystery. Philosophers and scientists have debated for centuries. This makes discussing simpler entities difficult. How can we search for what we can't define? This ambiguity complicates the scientific endeavor. The problem is amplified in the cellular world. How do we define consciousness for bacteria? What are the essential features of minimal awareness? Is mere responsiveness enough? Without clear definitions, the search is foggy. It's like mapping a coastline with a spinning compass. Life, awareness, and our place. Exploring cellular consciousness reshapes our understanding of life. Life might be about experience, from simple flickers to our bright flame. This challenges our long-held definitions. Life forms might be more sentient than we imagined. Our definitions must expand to accommodate these possibilities. Section 2. Weaving a new tapestry, the interdisciplinary quest. The mystery of consciousness is too vast for any single discipline. It calls for a new kind of teamwork. We must weave together insights from many fields. Biologists detail the mechanics of cells. Their observations beg deeper questions. These questions push us into new intellectual territory. Neuroscientists study information processing. They offer models for emergent properties. Yet subjective experience remains elusive. This is where philosophy steps in. Philosophers provide essential frameworks. They help us ask the right questions. Section 3. Charting the future. New frontiers in consciousness research. Research into cellular consciousness needs fresh, innovative approaches. Novel biosensors and molecular markers could indicate cellular states. We might find signatures of integrated information in simple systems. This calls for creativity, pushing experimental techniques and technologies. Blending theoretical modeling with empirical investigation is key. Mathematicians and physicists can develop models to simulate awareness. Experimental biologists and data scientists could find empirical evidence. Analyzing vast data sets might reveal repeating signatures of information processing. The fractal hypothesis is elegant and potentially testable.